It's not That's right, a token. So remember that in the future. No. Bring your cards. So, Rob, thank you for having us. We appreciate helping out with anything we can do. And you put on a decent spread there, and we appreciate that. So everybody have an opportunity to grab you a little bit to eat. Please. And Rob, we'll hand it over to you. And all right, exiting stage. Right.
Well, thanks. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you taking time out of the day to come and join us. And welcome to the Rose Music Center. We're excited and pleased to be able to present this. And thank you, community, business owners, leaders, regional supporters alike, for helping making this happen. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Huber Heights, a great opportunity for the I-70 corridor, and a great opportunity for the region as a whole. It was built and designed to make sure to be a catalyst to help entice some business, some growth, some traffic, some interest to our region, and make Huber Heights first a destination, and the region also a destination, to help really draw and bring things and ideas and residents, businesses even. Businesses, when they're coming and expanding and developing their business, they want a nice, beautiful place to live and recreate, so their employees are happy and their employees are productive. That's on the business side. Residents, when we choose places to live, schools, safety, all those things, and recreation is such a big part of it. And having a place to go just down the street to enjoy some entertainment and to have a great facility and amenity like this as a resident to be proud of, to say, hey, I live in Huber Heights, that's in my town. When you're out of state and you hear somebody that traveled to the Rose Music Center for a concert, that's pride, and that's a great amount of civic interest and growth within the community. So we're so pleased and proud that this has come to fruition, and we're getting ready to launch and start a long journey in partnership with everybody that's been involved. So again, thank you so much for everybody's support and interest in it, and we hope to see you all at several concerts this season, next season, and all the rest to come. So what I thought I'd do real quick is just give a quick overview about the building itself, and then invite in the folks from Mimi. Mimi is our manager of the building. Music Event Management Incorporated, and what they are is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, and they run Riverbend, PNC, Taft Theater, and have experience all throughout the country for opening, running, and managing facilities like this, and also events. So we couldn't have found a better partner, and I think, as you can see by the lineup of shows and very aggressive approach that we've had, and great interest and support for the facility, that they're certainly the right choice. So to get started real quick, the facility, as you see, is a fully roofed facility that you'll be able to enjoy. They're all seats, there's no lawn seating. We have over 100 restrooms. There's 60% women's restrooms and 40% men, so there's more ladies restrooms. For sure. We have 24 concession windows. One of the things that we wanted to make sure is that this is a good experience for the patrons, that when you come to enjoy a show here, it's a top-class amenity, something that you can be proud of, and something that's a good experience for you. And also, as you're seeing backstage here, there's a lot of amenities for the talent and the artists, because likely we want it to be a great experience for them as well. We want a reputation in the industry of one of the best places to come and perform. And that's going to keep having the talent come back, and is, again, going to help recognize our community and what our community has here in a great amenity in that industry as well. Holds about 4,500 people. There's a pit area of seats that would be like this that people commonly see, and I'll let the folks at Mimi explain how seating is done. And again, the two main areas is the pavilion, then the concession plaza where you'll see the concessions, and then there's an area outside that we call the promenade, or there's actually a roadway. It kind of looks like a park setting, a couple of benches and such, that we could also utilize and have little things. But we wanted the entire facility to be a dedicated and a destination, and to be able to be enjoyed from the time you move into the drive into the parking lot to the time that you will come in and sit down and enjoy the show. Access is another big thing. We wanted to make sure that we're easily accessible. The directions are kind of hard to get here. Drive on I-70 until you see the sign, get off on the exit and turn. So either way, it doesn't matter. When you see it, get off the next exit and you'll find it. So that's certainly an advantage for us. Parking as well. 2,000 parking places. We want everybody to be able to get in easy. You can see every parking space from the pavilion, so you don't have that far of a walk. Should be able to find your car real easy, and when you go to leave, if you're on this side, turn left, go to Brent, or to Troy. If you're on this side, turn right and go to Brent. Nice controlled intersections and access, so again, all part of the design to make it a good, pleasurable experience. So without further ado, I'll introduce some folks to get into probably the interesting part of it, and that's how these type of things are managed. If I could bring up Mike Smith, he's the CEO of Mimi, and I know he's got some staff members here. So if Mike could just give us the quick overview of how this facility is going to operate and how maybe we get talent booked in and.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm happy to be here. I commend the city on what you've built. I'd rather just answer questions because I can go on. Rob really described the venue to a T. I will say that he makes one very good point. There are more places to play in the United States than there is talent available. So as a result, you've got to set yourself apart, and the city has done that. This facility does not compromise in any area. There are plenty of dressing rooms, plenty of restrooms, wide concourses, wide aisles, plenty of handicapped seating, great sight lines. There are 2 LED video boards that are being installed next week. This is a wonderful facility, and it should set you apart. And the reason why you need to be set apart is an artist will choose to play Toledo, or Cleveland, or Cincinnati, or Dayton, or Huber Heights. And we need to have the advantage so that you're getting these attractions. That said, I'm happy to answer questions.
How many months out of the year can it be used?
Well, it's really not so much driven by the weather as some would think. It's more driven, well, clearly, you're not going to book in November, December, January, February, probably not even March. It's more driven by artist touring schedules and what artists decide to do when they put together their packages. It's not like going to Walmart and picking an artist off a shelf. They have to say, well, we're going to work the Northeast between July and August, and then in August we're going to leave and go to the Southeast, or they may go to the West. I mean, some artists will do 100 shows in a touring schedule, and some will do 20. So it's really defined by when the artists are available, and generally this part of the country, they're available mid-April to mid-October. Yes, sir.
I commend you guys on the schedule and great artists. My one question is, how the heck did you get the Temptations and the Beach Boys together?
I would like to take credit for it, but that's frankly exactly what I just described. The Temptations and the Beach Boys. Beach Boys have toured with Earth, Wind & Fire a couple of years ago. They've toured with the Doobie Brothers. So it's really management says, how can we further the career? How can we keep working? How can we keep making money? They think about good packages and decide, hey, Beach Boys, Temptations, we stood up and said, we want that package. It's playing here and it's playing in Cincinnati at PNC. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to leverage both places.
Great lineup, though.
Thank you.
Would the same artists play a phrase that would play here?
No. It's just too close.
Yeah.
They're serving the same market.
Right.
How important is it to the groups that you're approaching with regard to the amenities that we're able to offer here, like the bus parking and the easy load dock?
If you took it on a scale of 0 to 100%, the most important thing is they want money. Once they get the offer that is at or above what everybody else is offering, if it's at that level, if the dollars are the same, then your reputation will weigh into their decision. Here's your problem, or our problem. This is the first year. So we're simply conveying information, and we can convey 2,000 parking spaces immediately adjacent. Loading dock that's immediately accessible to the load-in roads. plenty of dressing rooms, inside lounges. All of that stuff that's worth 5%, this is worth 5%, this is worth 8%. What we really hope is that after this season, now all of a sudden, you gotta remember, there's probably 5 major talent agencies in the country who represent everybody. Now, there's probably 400 talent agencies, but the top 5 control 80% of the talent that we'd be looking for in this facility. So when one of their artists calls the next morning, says, it was great, they had an awesome time. The food backstage was great, the dressing rooms were fun, the crowd was awesome, the building's terrific. That agent who represents 50 artists now says, well, I want my artist to play there. So when you go to a show, or when an artist is at a show and there's no roof and it rains torrentially and they don't have any fun and the show gets delayed, where would you rather play the next time on?
Thank you.
They have to stay in a hotel somewhere, so where will they be staying?
Not really.
They don't? They
No.
Tour bus. Just live in their bus.
To be frank,
Fly in in the
it
afternoon,
costs so
fly out at
much
night.
money now to tour that they come in on a bus, they leave, and they're heading to the next city
Okay.
because they've got a show the next day.
Sure.
Now, some of the A-list people may fly in, limo to the show, go back to the airport, fly to their next
Okay.
date. Occasionally, we may find with this partnership between PNC and Cincinnati and here, that an artist will say, well, we'll stay in Huber Heights on Friday night, and then we'll get up tomorrow at 1, and we'll drive. So there may be some hotel visits. And generally what happens there is the artists have travel agencies under contract in LA, Nashville, or wherever they're from. They'll say, we're gonna stay in Pittsburgh, we're gonna stay in Huber Heights. Travel agents got a list of preferred. We can have some influence on that, but depends. Yes, sir.
This is a wonderful amenity for the region. One question that I have that perhaps you could address is law enforcement. And how is that going to be handled?
Law enforcement.
In other words, crowd control.
We provide, from a management standpoint, our company, A to Z management of the facility. We run a peer staffing arrangement. We don't use volunteers. We actually interview, hire staff, train them in crowd management. We don't police the facility. We manage the crowd, and we find that in talking to people and communicating with them, they'll cooperate. We will also have an agreement with local police, Huber Heights Police, to provide exterior supervision, so parking, direction, and potentially, depending upon the show, supervision in parking lots or at exterior of gates. And then frankly, we will have some undercover assistance inside the facility in the case of somebody who just doesn't take direction very well, and then they'll be dealt with appropriately.
Thank you.
Would that be paid through this place?
Yes.
These officers would be paid?
It's part of the operation of the, and it won't be all the time. Need to Breathe is the first show in the facility, and it's a Christian rock artist. I don't expect any issues whatsoever.
Besides the musical artist, or is there area for community, like businesses to have meetings here and things like that, or is it strictly just for the entertainment guy?
This is basically the largest meeting or working room. And during the season,
Okay.
You've got lead time between shows and stuff, and it'd be hard to schedule having it as a public meeting area or scheduled meeting area.
It's not a convention center.
It's
It's designed
not.
specifically for the function that it was built for.
All right.
But we can have things out on the promenade and things that are outside the fence that
could get scheduled, right, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only challenge to that would be making sure that if there's an event that day, you know, you're gonna have activity, people arrive early, there will be buses coming in and out. So we generally protect the property for an event that's been booked.
How are sales?
Sales are good.
How about for our school? Like the graduations?
You know what we found, we have talked about, and the facility should be available for that sort of activity. There are costs involved, and we've run into the same thing in other markets, Detroit, Cincinnati, Tampa, where we have, and it's a wonderful amenity, but then you talk to the school about, well, you've got stagehands and lighting fixtures and staff that have to be in place and insurance that has to be, you know, acquired. And it's all workable, but it does cost to use the building. So that would be, you know, I'm sure Rob and the city would deal directly with the schools. We'll be more than happy to accommodate, but there are expenses associated when you open up and turn sound systems on, lighting systems.
You mentioned the parking. How much will it cost?
Parking is included in the purchase of the ticket. And the reason for that is mostly for ease of traffic management and safety. If you're stopping cars to collect a fee, it backs traffic up. And this way, it's pretty much this way across the country now. Everybody's including a parking fee into the price of the ticket. You just wave everybody in, park the car, and it keeps traffic to a minimum. The good news is, at the box office, there are no service fees when you purchase a ticket whatsoever other than parking.
Unless you use a credit card though, correct?
$1.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Are there any opportunities for nonprofit groups to do some community fundraising, like manning a concession stand, like some stadiums allow, or?
There may be. To be completely frank, we've had bad experiences. No-shows, and then what ends up happening is that you've got a crowd of 4,000 people and not nearly enough staff, and then the patrons are unhappy, and it's not financially productive. But we're more than happy to look at special situations, and if we can vet that and make it work, we'd be happy to do that.
We wanted to take a quick opportunity also, and I don't know if Bill wants to talk real quick about it, but we've had a lot of inquiries, especially from businesses, about sponsorship opportunities. And I also want to touch on, as before we start that, some, is this still over in? Sorry, I'm trying to look around. Oh, here it is, I'm sorry. And I don't know.